down this page. All right, 7.1.2. Compound probability. Day 2. Gentlemen, we got to get focused now. Gentlemen, come on. So, we talked about this idea of these two simple events. So when we talk about events, we have this subscript down here where A1 means that this little 1 down here represents the first simple event. Versus if I write A2, this refers to the second simple event. And together they make a what? They make a compound event. All right? Which is the combining of multiple simple events. Now, remember, that subscript is there to help you understand which one. It's a couple of different things because it's telling you the outcome for the first simple versus the next. So, let's say we have, and I know I drew this yesterday, but I want to draw it again. We have event 1, and we have event 2. And the event 1 can be A or B, and the other event can also be A or B. So 1 or 2 like this. So these are the two events, like flipping a coin, heads and tails. You can get a heads and tails together. The way I drew it, have I drawn it like a compound event though? Does this drawing represent compound? Well, this is kind of showing us the two simple events. So we're going to redraw this now as a tree diagram, another new word, for the compound event. So it can be A or B, and then from each one of them, it can be A or B. A or B. Now, notice how this is, again, drawn. This is the drawing to help us realize how many different outcomes there are. So based on this tree diagram, there are how many outcomes? How many out? 4. There's 4 outcomes to the compound event that we're working right here. Now, are they all equally likely?
No. Yes. I'm gonna say no.
The answer is we don't know. It could be. There's no information given yet that says that they are or they aren't. So yes is correct. No is we don't know if they are equally likely or not. Was that?
Okay. Did you finish your notes from yesterday? Maybe we can at the end we can add the definitions to like we did yesterday.
Yeah. So again, we want to talk about these ones. So we write the probabilities on the side of here. And yesterday I drew those numbers. So over here, we're going to write what the probability of that event is. We're going to write what the probability of this event is. Okay. And here's where it gets a little tricky. And again, given A1, yes. This would be the probability of? No. A2 given B1. Now that given, that conditional just tells us which branch we're coming off of, okay? And the last one is the probability of given B1. Now, if you fully don't grasp this, and this notation's getting a little bit tricky. It's not something that needs to be mastered right now, okay? It's not something that needs to be mastered right now, But if you're grasping why these conditionals are here, you're going to be fine this unit, okay?
Can you just explain the difference between A and B really quickly?
So we're just saying, like, we could say A, not A, but these are the two outcomes. So like heads, this could be like heads, and this could be tails, right? And then this could be, once again, heads and tails. And we're going to do an example in a little bit where Angel just walked out. Well, we go Selvin. That's even worse probability. Are you better? Who's a better free throw shooter? You? Okay, we'll use you. So it'll be that he successfully makes a free throw or he misses the free throw. Now, in the real world, if Selvin makes his first free throw, would he be equally likely to make the first or second free throw? No, or sorry, will he be more likely or less likely to make the second free throw? Probably more, because psychology, right? That's the real world. In mathematics, we're going to assume what about Selvin's free throws? What are we going to assume?
Can you put key on the side for them that says like A is a different event than B? Because the ones and the twos. Guys, if you have this written on your paper, write down what he's writing for the key. Because some people just have like the line and then A, B. If you look back at it, it's not going to help you remember anything, okay?
Event 1 outcomes A or B. Event 2 outcomes A or B. Now, so it's just like the idea of when we were flipping the coin or rolling the die, these are the outcomes and we have the two. In that case, because we're assuming right now, in our current work, we're assuming they're equally likely. Okay, but let's change that up a little bit. You ready to change that equally likely idea away? All right, let's see how we go. Let's do a quick example. Well, let's do an example. So, Selvin is shooting free throws. He is successful 60% of the time. Does that sound about right?
We're like 30.
We're like 30.
Yeah, that's crazy. He said more like 30. Ooh, they're fucking down on you.
Assume Selvin's free throws, FT, are independent of each other. So what does that mean when I add that line about independent of each other?
40% is not successful.
Okay, every single time. So if Selvin just made 20 free throws in a row, what's the probability that he makes his next free throw? 60% because they are independent. Okay, and then of course, that's the difference between we have to talk about independence of holding it down.
Make
All right.
sure you have what independent means on one of your notes. If it's not from yesterday, put it down today. Right? Independent event does not change future probabilities.
Selvin takes 2 free throws. What on probability? First free throw. The event 1 is his first free throw attempt. Okay, so his first free throw. And what are the outcomes for his first free throw? No, what are the outcomes? You're jumping ahead. Well, let's use 2 different letters. So, Selvin shoots a free throw. What are the 2 outcomes? He makes it. We'll call that S for success. He misses. We'll use F for fail. Very good. Yes, F and S, success and failures, is a very common one that we like to use. So makes is a success and failure. So when he makes his first free throw, he can do what? Which is what letter? S or F. And if we want to, and if we're confused a little, we could put the 1 down here just representing that this is his first free throw. Now, of course, we assuming or we know that first one represents that first free throw. What is the probability that he makes that first free throw? And how do we write that as a probability? 0 point, and down here, 0.4. There we go. All right, he shoots his second free throw. But he made his first, and he shoots his second. So what are the options that can happen? S2, and F2. What about if he misses his first free throw? He can still have S2 and F2. He can still have success and failure. Now, the reason why this is not always true, Selvin, what happens in college basketball sometimes? What happens in college basketball sometimes when you're shooting free throws? Yeah, and the first fouls. Is it still the rule? Yeah, it's still the rule, right? 1 and 1. So in basketball, and you could draw this in a tree diagram as well, sometimes in basketball, when you miss the first free throw, that's it. You don't get to shoot another one. So sometimes the whole tree diagram doesn't get drawn. So that's the reason why there. Sometimes when you make it, you get to shoot a second one. Sometimes when you miss, you. And that's, again, we'll go in those scenarios later, but that can happen. All right, success 2. What's the probability there? What's the probability? That he makes it? 0.6, yep. And the other one? Yep. And?
I think there's 3 outcomes or 2.
We got how many outcomes?
3.
No, how many total outcomes are there?
2.
Whoa. We have this outcome, this outcome.
4 outcomes.
Yeah, good job.
Now, I do hear what you're saying. Technically, yes. For those of you that said 3, there is. He makes one. So it depends on how we're wording it. He could, because misses and makes, success, failure, failure, success is still making one, right? So, which one is he makes both? He makes both free throws. Which one? Here and here, right? So that's the only one where he makes 2. Does everybody agree? So he makes 2 free throws. So how do we figure out the probability of this one?
1 out of 4 or 25%.
How do we find the probability?
12.
Look to the beginning of the notes. What do we do for the probability? Look to the beginning of your notes, everybody. What do you do?
Like with the P?
Say it again. Say it louder, Sam.
Multiply it.
We multiply it. So 0.6 times 0.6 to find this one right here. So what's the probability he makes both of them? Did anybody do that math in their head? What's 6 times 6?
36.
So 0.36. Now, what about the next outcome? We would do 0.6 times what? And Sam's jumping real quick with her math, so 0.4 times 0.4, which gives me 0.16. Now, please note, the outcomes weren't equally likely. Selvin was not a 50% free throw shooter. So they were not equally likely, and that's why notice that each of these outcomes are different. They're not each 0.25 like we saw yesterday and also saw in our do now, right? So you can't just say 1 out of 4. Some of you will want to say, oh, what's the probability he makes both of them? 1 out of 4, because there's 4 outcomes. We have to find each individual one. So the probability, he has a success on the first one and a success on the second one is 0.36. And I'm going to pause right here so we can get caught up for us. We can also say the probability makes 2. This is the probability makes 2. Now, I know I said I'm going to pause, and I am. Just as a reminder from yesterday, if I add up all these numbers in the end, what do I get? I get 100%. So we know we've done it right if that's the case. All right. We're almost.
This makes sense. We have
See?
five, we have 6 minutes. We have 6 minutes left, maybe 5.
All right. We got one last question, and then we're going to be good. But catch up. Catch up.
The,
S and F,
No, not SNF, like the beginning of the A and B. So when we do like the, I'm gonna look at the practice for tomorrow, but we have to do like, it's like, they know that it's 2 different events, but then S1 and S1, they keep like, they're not writing the order, so I think. I know it's a, it doesn't.
You don't have to worry, yeah.
Now again, talking to this page. So I'm writing these 2s and 1s here, but are you required to write the 1 and a 2? No. It just helps us organize our thinking. Oh, that was for the first one, and this is for the second one. But if I just wrote SS, we're just, as long as we understand it's a compound event. So the reason why I'm writing these numbers is because it's just to make sure that right now you know it's a compound event. B. What's the probability he makes 1 free throw? What's the probability Selvin makes 1 free throw?
0.24.
Let's think about this, people. How many outcomes does he make 1 free throw? 2 outcomes. So Curlin says there's 2 outcomes that he makes 1 free throw. Which ones? We'll go 1 through 4. 2 and 3. So this outcome is Selvin making 1 free throw. This outcome is Selvin making 1 free throw. So there's 2 outcomes. So the answer is 2 out of 4, right?
Yeah. 48, you add them all.
Yeah. So the answer is not 2 out of 4, as Sam is telling us. Add them up. Try it always. So the answer is 0. Well, we're going to do the math. 24 plus 0.24, which gives us 48.